Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats from Popternative here, speaking to Alex Bonifer about Kevin Can F Himself, now available on AMC and AMC Plus. Alex, welcome to Popternative, man.
My man, thank you. Thank you, Peter, for having me here. It's an honor and a pleasure.
I'm excited to chat with you. I mean, it's pretty fresh. I mean, the show finally dropped. I mean, has it hit you that it's finally out there for everyone?
It has. It really seeing the episodes. I've screened the first four. We've seen cuts of the first four, but the first kind of like crazy, like oh shit moment was we were watching Annie Murphy, who's the lead of our show, was on Fallon, and they Jimmy Fallon's doing his thing. Kevin Can himself. Annie Murphy's so great in the show. Here's the clip, and then they cut to a clip. So not only he's saying the name of our show, and then they cut to a clip, and then I'm in the clip. It's from the first scene of the series. And that was like, oh shit, like I was just on Fallon, and that was wild.
Yeah, Neil is very, like, it's funny because, when you see like visuals of like the show, like Neil is very, you can't miss Neil. If you know what I mean.
He's got a look. He's got a distinct look. I mean, the hair, this is real. The hair's real. But I'm a bigger guy too, so yeah, he kind of stands out in a crowd.
We're gonna get into it specifically, but I want to know for you. I mean, I always ask about like, how you got into like acting, storytelling, comedy, and everything. But I'm just curious. Rather than just kind of generically ask you that, Alex, I'm gonna ask you, when did the comedy bug hit you? Because you worked at improv and everything. Like when did that hit you? Like the comedy storytelling aspect of things.
Yeah, that was actually, well, I've always enjoyed making my friends laugh, and I played sports growing up. I played football in college. I played for Jim Harbaugh, fun fact about me, at the University of San Diego. But I always did love making my teammates laugh, and that was always sort of like class clown type guy, but never really had an application for it. And then I was home from college one summer, and my dad is actually the one who's like, "Hey son, which has never happened. Hey son, I'm doing this thing called improv, and I think you should get into it. I think you'd be good at it." So my dad's actually the one in college, when I was a freshman that summer between freshman and sophomore year. I took an improv class at the IO West, and that was when I realized, like, oh, comedy is something that actually has like a real application in the world. I had grown up watching all of my favorite comedy movies and things like that, but it never really hit me that it was something that I was good at until I was in classes with other actors that were on commercials and on TV, and I was like, "Oh, I could do this too."
Yeah.
So that set out a path of the last 12 years of my life. Comedy has always been there and always been something that I've working towards, just getting good at.
Yeah, I modify the question a little bit towards you because I was curious with the comedy, but I always love asking that question because it blows my mind all the different paths of how people got to where they are. It's crazy.
There's so many. And I thought for the longest time that it was, as many comedians do. Sorry, my earphones keep falling out. My daughter stole the little inserts, so apologies. She's 2.5 years old, so she steals everything. But yeah, I thought it was like SNL or bust. Like that was like the one. I was like, because that's how you make it in comedy. That's how like all of like Will Ferrell, who's like an idol of mine, like Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, like all people who have come from the Groundlings where I study. They all did it well, Melissa McCarthy didn't, but so many Groundlings did it through SNL. And when I got a job on Superstore, and then that was really the first, like, oh, I can make it a lot of different ways in comedy, in
that show, like, have you noticed that? Like that show Superstore, just because the syndication at Netflix, just like,
oh yeah,
it's one of the biggest sitcoms. It's one of the biggest sitcoms, like, of our generation.
Yeah, and it was poignant, and it had strong social messaging, and a diverse, extremely diverse cast, and just what the show talked about. It wasn't just like comedy for comedy's sake. It was like finding ways to make a statement and have an opinion on what's going on in the world currently. So I think it's super underrated, and I do think it's one of those that people are gonna, as you mentioned, it's already kind of blowing up, but I even think in the next 1 or 2 years to come, like people will that didn't watch it will kind of rediscover it through streaming through Peacock or whatever, it's streaming on.
100%. So we're talking about Kevin Kneff himself. You play Neil on that, and it's one of those things as well where we talked about it a little bit before we started. You mentioned WandaVision, and I was all excited because I was like, it's just so unique. Oh my god! You're like, well, WandaVision, and you ruined the talking point, kind of, but it's okay.
No.
No,
I could make it. I could get it back. I can get it back, Peter. Let's do it. Ask me the question.
Is this one of the most unique shows on TV right now?
This is the single most unique show. No, I mean,
but it's incredible concept,
it is.
Man. It's so cool to see. Like, it's wicked. I haven't seen, like, when I saw the trailer for it, and then when I saw the first couple of episodes, I was like, my mind was blown that I haven't like seen anything like that before.
Yeah, Valerie Armstrong is the show's creator. She's a genius, and I call the idea like it's like the Snuggie, which is like it's right there in front of your face. Like everyone who saw that Snuggie infomercial was like, "You turn your bathrobe inside out. How did I not think of this? I could be a millionaire." And it's the same thing. We've seen these. We know these characters. We've seen them, and like, yeah, why haven't we seen Peggy Bundy's story? Like, why haven't we seen what her real emotions? So the fact that using the convention of a multi-camera sitcom and a single camera drama and to tell that story, but to tell it using the multicam sitcom as a deconstruction of what that narrative has been told to us for all these years, and make that kind of her hell, as opposed to like, this is the campy life we live, it's really groundbreaking.
It is groundbreaking. That's a great word to put it. And like, what's your mindset when you get casted for this, man? Like, you get casted as Neil. I mean, obviously we've established this is very unique. And what's going through your head? Like, you're obviously like checking out the script and you know about it, but it's like, do you say like, wow, this is like going to be cool, but this is going to be like different?
Yeah, that was, I mean, well, first of all, when I got cast for the show, this has been, I was on Superstore prior to this and a few smaller projects, but this is, undeniably like my first big,
the big
series
break.
regular role, big break, right? So that's, that's what goes through my mind. First of all, it's like, oh my God, this
in
is
general,
this is
absolutely,
big opportunity in general, but also on top of that, to have it be your big break and also be like far and away the best script that I've read in a long time, but also this pilot season where I was going out for a number of other things, and yeah, to be on a completely different new show that people are going to be talking about because it is different, was just like, I just felt so lucky, and I know that everyone in the cast would agree that Annie, that Annie's our lead, yes, but that Valerie and Craig DiGregorio are showrunner, and the people at AMC like entrusted the six of us series regulars to kind of tell this story. It also in an instant was equal parts exciting but humbling, and like I was like ready to get my game face on and really do this story justice because it was so good.
I feel like it's because you've been working on this project, you're excited about it and everything, right? But I can't help but wonder that the cast and crew, it's like gravy on the mashed potatoes, like a bonus about Annie with Schitt's Creek and everything like that came to mind too, right? Like that there was an opportunity there. Like you can't deny that was good timing.
No, I mean the timing, I had the unbelievable experience of like we were in between takes and we were sitting at the dining room table, the show's dining room table, while they set lighting for a scene. And all of us, Eric Peterson, Mary Hollis Ann-Bowden, and myself and Brian Howe were sitting at the dining room table, and we were just kind of talking or whatever. And we were with Annie when she got word that she was nominated for a Golden Globe. And like, that's a moment I'll cherish forever. And that just, she couldn't be like crushing it harder right now, to use a broy expression, but like she's crushing it. And rightfully so, for anyone who's had the pleasure of meeting her, like she is just one of the finest humans that you'll meet, and like couldn't have, sort of set the tone for a better atmosphere on set and to work with. And she's just a really like cool, fun person to be around. So
absolutely.
not only did kind of the show benefit from her being an amazing person, but like we all individually and interpersonally benefited from her being an amazing talented, amazing
absolutely
person.
And like Popternative is a global show, it's a global brand, but I am Canadian, right? So it's just really like it feels good to see shows like Schitt's Creek do what they did, because it's there was a stigma attached to like Canadian content for a long time that it like wasn't as good as US content, right? Because it wasn't getting as much of exposure. But like Schitt's Creek, we have some amazing shows like Letterkenny that's on Hulu, right?
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
in comedy, that's not the case anymore. So it's exciting to see that for sure.
Yeah, totally. Well, I will say you guys carry the load in the music department. I mean, let's just get it out there. Justin Bieber and and
Drake, The
and
Weeknd.
and yeah, Drake, The Weeknd, but also the biggest name of them all, Bryan Adams, one of my personal favorite artists.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
yeah, no, for sure. It's crazy. There's still a lot of Canadian bands though that don't like break out. Like they're huge here and then they go play a
Right.
small bar in New York City. It's the greatest. Like, it's so weird to think about sometimes.
Yeah, that is so bizarre how what it is that people over here latch onto,
It-
but
it's crazy. I'm actually curious to ask you this question because I feel like, you've been around a lot, like a lot of comedy and improv. So I feel like you're going to give me an interesting answer for this. I mean, especially like for the acting stuff, people know like there's a lot of misconceptions about like the industry, right? Like, like for example, they see you on like you mentioned, right? Like this is like your big break type thing, but you've been doing this for a long time. Like it's not like this is your first project ever. It's not like you've been like auditioning for years after that. So that's obviously a big misconception. What can you tell me about misconceptions in like the comedy, like improv world, like the SNL world that you talked about? Like, is there something like Jamie Kennedy came on my show last year and he said like people just think we wing it all the time. Like they think stand up is improv, which it's not. You know what I mean? But like, what can you tell me? Is there anything that comes to mind?
yeah, I mean, you kind of like I think Jamie Kennedy, but that's exactly what I was going to say is I think people think that like it just sort of like it's just sort of we like open our mouth and it's funny, but like the sketches you see on SNL, the sketches that I do at the Groundlings, those are so crafted and like drafts after draft after draft before you finally get it perfected. So it's not dissimilar to any other kind of art form in that way, where it really is a process, like a really, really, from like what I do in sketch comedy, which is similar to what they do on SNL, the character development, like how it starts at such a granular level and then you sort of build from there. And then even with improv, where people think that like, particularly long form improv, but people think that, you just take a bunch of funny people who have no improv training and put them on stage doing improv and they'll craft something great. And it's like, no, there are just like any, to use a sports analogy, like you have to know the rules of basketball before you can go out and play.
Absolutely.
And that's when you see like great team basketball. It's the same thing with, a great improv set. So you have to hone those skills and you got to know how to dribble before you can dunk kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's just true with
From
comedy.
time to time, I'll get like stand-up comedians on the show, and they're very like passionate about the misconception question. Like they're like, man, like they think we're just improvising. Like I make my own material. Like they get so like.
It's true though. It's true because it's art, and it's something that if people knew how much time went into kind of perfecting the end product, like they would. Not that the people don't appreciate that. I'm not saying that, but I think that's just a misconception.
But you do more like the sketch comedy, right? Like, have you dabbled in the stand-up, or is it mostly have you done stand-up comedy?
I've done one stand-up show in my life, and it was like a friend. It was like
and the rest was history.
It was at like the Yoo-Hoo room in Burbank, which is like the C-level room at the what was the name? The Flappers in Burbank, and it was like a new to stand-up comedy night. And my buddy, it was the same kind of thing. He was like, yeah, he was on my improv group, and he's like, you could probably come up with something funny. And I did it, and I will likely never do it again.
Is that a misconception too, where they just kind of bunch up everything? Like people just feel like stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, it's all the same stuff, and they go to a comedy club to see it, right? Like, is that?
Yeah.
Is that a thing too?
Yes, totally. And they think like if you can do one, you can be great at the all. And there certainly are like phenomenal stand-ups who are great at improv and also sketch, like, but it's not like a hard and fast rule across the board, because I'm also, another misconception is that like I have this happen where I'll meet people socially that have seen me perform, here in LA. And when I'm not like performing, I'm not like I'm not necessarily like, doing like yuck 'em ups and bits and like making people laugh. So I think that that's a misconception too, is that like comedians are funny all of the time. I think that's like an insane request of a person to just be like on and like, like just
I
making
have
people
met
laugh
though people, but
nonstop.
the thing is, there's some people that I've like
There
talked
are
to
some.
that just can't stop being funny. It's like,
I
and I feel
know.
like it gets like frustrating for them because they're really not. They're just ordering food, right, at a
Right, right.
restaurant, and it's just like, haha, that's hilarious. It's like, stop it for one
Yeah.
second.
Yeah. Like I just want a BLT, man. Like what is
No,
um,
I do have to ask you this. I mean, you know, you said, you know, you have a 2-year-old and, you know, you're a father, and, you know, you done sketch comedy. Is Alex Bonifer a fan of the dad jokes? Do you appreciate a good dad joke from time to time?
I heard you were a fan of dad jokes, Peter, and I do. I love puns, and I'm a
Have you
big
actually heard?
and
Because it's something I do on my show. Like, I actually, like, say dad
I have
jokes.
no, I have, and I have a few of my favorites prepared for you today, if you'd
Amazing.
like me to share. But yes, and
Absolutely.
actually, it's funny because I do feel like, and this is probably just in my head, but I do feel like after having a child, I just got so much better at puns. Like
Oh,
so, like I throw them in constantly
you were telling me
if I
about that.
can.
You were telling me about that kidnapping the other day, but it was okay, right? Because he woke up.
Because he woke up, yeah,
Yeah.
because the kid woke up.
Or like we went to that restaurant, like the best food, but like zero atmosphere on the moon. Do you remember that one?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
That
no, sure
place?
do.
Yeah.
Sure do.
I have to tell you, I feel like a little bit, I have to be honest too, because I had a dad joke calendar for Christmas. It was
Uh-huh.
one dad joke a day, right? Can you imagine how many
Yeah.
dad jokes that are? So they're not
So
like
65?
yeah, they're not my dad jokes,
Uh-huh.
but they're like, I got them, like, I just memorized them, right? You shouldn't trust stairs. They're always up to something. You used
Yeah,
to
yeah,
work at a
yeah.
shoe factory. You quit because it was soul destroying.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, I've been really, since being back in Los Angeles, I've been trying to get my wife to go to a nude beach, but I think she just clothes-minded.
Yeah.
Get it? Clothes-minded.
Yeah. Yes.
Get it?
I did get
Get
it.
it?
I did get it. Yes.
And I recently made a pun about the wind, but that one blows.
And you're don't tell me you're joke about construction because you're still working on it.
Oh, there it is. I did have these are two original ones when I was filming because we filmed Kevin Can Fuck Himself in Boston, and
Oh, you
because
actually
of the
called it what it actually is. Great. Okay.
well, well,
Is
yeah,
that
that's
the
where.
official title? Like, do you guys refer to it as that? Like when you're talking as a cast?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's only when it's on like promos and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
for
Do
sure.
we omit? But we were there in due to the state of the world and the pandemic, my wife and my daughter actually moved with me while we were filming, whereas normally I would have probably flown and back to LA. But we went to Plymouth Rock and the Mayflower recreation, and so I posted these are two original dad jokes. I posted a picture of the Mayflower and I said, "Are you shipping me?" And then I posted a picture of the Plymouth Rock and I said, "That's what I'm rocking about." So authentic
A lot of
dad
Jamie
humor.
Kennedy references. He didn't like my jokes. He was like, "How old are you?" And he's like, "I thought you were gonna ask me this joke. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9." I was like, he was like not having it at all.
No, I appreciate him. I'm a dad. I get it. It's just any opportunity that I can
Absolutely.
can
Before
throw
we
one in.
wrap up, I'm just curious. I mean, the obvious answer to this question is you hope they, they watch it, they recommend it to their family and friends, but diving deep into it a little bit more, when people watch Kevin Can F Himself on AMC, what are you hoping they get out of it?
Yeah, I just hope that that it really changes their perspective on what we've been told is funny and what we've been laughing at, whether organically or with the help with the help of a laugh track.
Yep.
And really question that and question, it's just obviously the show's coming on the heels of Me Too, but like the Me Too movement, which was extremely obviously important in our society and in the world. And I think it's just time that that women have long been the butt of the joke and have been sort of stripped of power and meaning and importance in these stories. And I think that ours
100%.
completely flips that, and it completely says, wait, no, this stuff isn't funny. We shouldn't be laughing at it. And then on top of that, we get to see, essentially, like I look at it like every sitcom housewife is sort of being molded into this like diamond that is Allison on our show, who Annie Murphy plays. And we're getting to see for the first time what they really went through.
Yep.
And I think that as you're, oh God, I lost both of them at the same time. How about that? As you're watching it, I hope that it just makes you, it makes you think more than anything. And we do hope it makes you laugh, because the goal was to make you laugh at times in spite of what it is, even the process of a deconstruction, but also, when Annie and Mary Hollis when it goes to like the drama, the single cam, it's still extremely funny and poignant and compelling.
Well, it's not even a spoiler because it happens like right away, but like, I'm just saying, like when the beer glass is like smashed, like that like hits.
Yeah.
That like, doesn't that feel like like it does, right?
Yes, that's the intended effect, because you're not expecting it.
No.
You're not, and that's really just like an analog to what she's feeling inside, and what, women in her roles have been feeling for a long time and never had a chance to express.
Absolutely.
We've never followed a sitcom housewife into the kitchen before, and our show does that in the very first scene, and continues to do that. So
absolutely,
that's what I hope. That's what I hope the takeaway is more than anything.
Alex, thank you so much for coming on Popternative, man. I really appreciate you coming on to talk about Kevin Can F himself, man. Seriously.
Thank you so much for having me, Peter. I really, really appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's like the premiere was 2 hours, correct?
Correct. So now going forward, it'll be every Sunday at 9, a new episode on AMC, and then simultaneously on AMC Plus, if you subscribe to that, the following week you get an early access to the following week's episode. So, for example, right now episode 3 is available on AMC Plus, but episode 3 will be on AMC Sunday at 9 p.m.
Absolutely. And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
Just my handle. I'm not a huge Twitter guy. I got to be honest. I do have one, but there's not much going on there.
You've been rocking the Instagram, though.
I've been rocking the Instagram for a while. It's just at Alex Bonifer, at my name. If you like, daughter content and family content, and Kevin Can F himself content, this is the place, the account for you.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. For previous episodes, you're going to be able to catch Alex Bonifer's Neil and Kevin Can F himself on AMC and AMC Plus. Until next time, this is Alex Bonifer and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.